Hello and welcome to my ranking of the 5 Scream movies. So I finally got the chance to watch the brand new Scream movie. To let you know where I am with this franchise, I started watching them for the first time ever about a week ago. So this ranking is coming from a brand new viewer of the franchise. And I have a tendency to not agree with everyone else. To put it in perspective, my favorite Mission Impossible movie is Mission Impossible 3. So just so you know, my list isn't going to be the same as yours, and it's probably going to be wildly different from every other ranking you've seen. I know it is because I know the general thoughts on these movies. But let's just get started. My number 5, you're expecting Scream 3, it is not. My number 5 is Scream 2. I think this is the exact same as number 1, but without the heart, without the genius writing, without the brilliant cast of side characters. It is just lacking everything the first one had. Not everything, of course, that would be overstating it. I do think it picks up for like the last third, and I think the reveal of the two killers is probably I think it's the most surprising of all the reveals. But I think it does lack especially the side characters of the first, because the first one had such interesting characters that you actually liked. And like, I know Randy returns for this, but he isn't as prominent as in that first movie. But I do love the fact that they have the balls to, spoiler alert, kill off a big character like Randy. I think that's amazing. And I think the third act is really good, except for the actual fight with, spoiler alert, Mrs. Loomis. I'm not going to say spoiler alert one more time. People should know by now. I'm going to spoil pretty much everything about all these movies. I think the actual fight with Mrs. Loomis is pretty like goofy and cringe. But other than that, the third act works very, very well. Number 4 is Scream 4. This had not the same issues as 2, but I mean, at this point the franchise was getting to a point where it's just pretty much the same as we've gotten before. I think the opening is genius. I don't know why people shit on this opening. I think it is so much fun. Does it? I mean, towards the end, when the actual thing that's taken place is taken place, I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be another fake out. But still, I mean, the whole opening within an opening within an opening, I thought that was genius writing. But from there, I think we get a movie with weird lighting that was just distracting all the way through. I thought Courtney Cox's face is just, oh no. She's had so much plastic surgery that it just distracts me to look at her. But where the movie not falls apart, because again that's overstating it, but where it really drops the ball for me is the reveal of the killers. I've seen many people praise Emma Roberts' performance and her motivations and how that all plays out. I didn't like it. First of all, I didn't buy Emma Roberts as being a scream killer. I predicted her to be, but once she's actually revealed, I didn't feel that same tension and that same creepy nature that I feel from someone like Billy Loomis or from Stu or even from Mickey. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like Emma Roberts pulled that off. And also, I think her motivations is actually the weakest of the franchise. I just think it comes off much more corny and cringe than it comes off clever and effective. And I know that people have said this is ahead of its time. Even now, I think it doesn't really work. I just think it's corny, and I don't really buy into it. Number 3, so I said this in my recent review of Scream. Scream 2022 lands bang dead in the middle of the ranking. I think this has a lot of good stuff, primarily bringing in these new characters and these new actors that I really enjoy. But it's also like, it I think the franchise is pretty stale. Would I want to watch a sixth movie? Yes. Do I know what to expect from it? Yes. I know what's going to come because it's just more of the same. It's the same, not really that creative kills. It is the same who done it. Like, And at this point, it's just like we've seen the stab to the gut, the stab to the back. We've seen these types of kills before, and it's just the same. And it's really predictable, like story wise. And I even saw one of the killers coming, and it's just, yeah, it was really entertaining, and I loved this new cast. But it's just like generic Scream. Number 2, the big shocker, is Scream 3. I do not, for the life of me, understand the hate for this movie. I think it is amazing. It is such, in my opinion, a return to form from Scream 2. I loved the opening, like killing off Cotton Weary, who I loved. That was just like when they killed off Randy in the second one. They're just establishing the fact that no one is safe. And I think the whole thing about like the voice changer and the bulletproof vest and stuff, like, people are saying that he's cheating, but I'm just like, no, he's just the smartest of all the killers. Is he the most interesting of the killers? Not at all. I don't think I'm blanking on his name. I don't think that Roman Bridger, I don't think he's the best killer. I mean, I was pretty underwhelmed when he took off that mask. But I think that he is definitely the smartest of all of them. And I think this voice modificator is just incredible. It gets predictable as it moves along. But I just think this movie is so intense. And actually something I think it does even better than the first is building the tension all throughout. I'm going to get to an issue with my number 1 on the list. But this one, I think, has a much more natural progression of tension than the first one does. But my number 1, this was never, ever going to be a surprise. I had some surprises with 2 and 3, but of course, my number 1 is Scream, the original. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think Billy Loomis was a predictable villain, a predictable Ghostface killer? Yes. But I can actually see some people being surprised with this. Because I don't think I can recall seeing a movie where it's so blatantly obvious who the killer is, but then he's actually arrested and has an alibi. So you don't know that it's actually him. It's like you're thrown off. I personally wasn't. I was like 80 to 90% sure it was still him. So therefore the twist didn't really shock me. But I think Skeet Ulrich is the best part of this movie. Of course, Neve Campbell, I don't even need to talk about her. You know that she's incredible. But Skeet Ulrich is my favorite part of this movie. He is so good in this movie, both as the romantic boyfriend and as the suspect. And when he's revealed to actually be the killer, I think he is so menacing. He does a phenomenal job, and I love that he returned for the new movie. And this is just, you can see why it's a classic. I haven't mentioned it for the other movies, but they do a great job as well of just spoofing their own movie, every other horror movie. That is just what Scream does, and I love that. So this was my ranking of the 5 Scream movies. If you enjoyed what you saw, this is what I want to do on this channel. I want to see as many movies as I can, as many TV shows as I can, and I want to bring the reviews to you guys. If you want to be a part of that, please consider clicking that subscribe button.